G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Bloodied 10mm pistol with 25% faster fire rate and 90% reduced weight, major and minor legendary effects, respectively. So a nice 3-star weapon with the gorilla-based perks going into this, using the powerful auto receiver there. And people have asked, you've admitted to having such and such weapon, and this made the list. Where are they? Here it is. So anyways, we've got a true long barrel to tighten up hip fire spread, precise grip to boost the condition bar first and foremost. I think it also does increase hip fire accuracy as well. Perforating magazine is there instead of stinging. We lose, I think, 3 bullets. So it's not too bad, but we get more penetrating power, and when you're hitting for 31 damage, that is unspec'd, well, when you're hitting for low damage, rather, you really need that extra armor penetration to actually see anything good come out of it, so hopefully that's a good trade-off for that. We've also got a reflex sight for VATS usage, less AP per shot, and a suppressor to keep us nice and hidden so we can use all of those sneak multipliers like normal. Let's boost this thing's damage by the use of perks, and here's what's going to go down. I'm going to chuck on 3 gorilla perks. That's not a gorilla perk, that's one. And Master Gorilla is there, and I'm going to be going full out in Bloody Mess this time. I've swapped out Bloody Mess rank 3 for Grim Reaper Sprint, because honestly that's not too much of a problem. The AP usage on a 10mm pistol isn't that bad anyway, and I think we'll be killing things fast enough to warrant that not as useful. I think we're missing out on an extra 20% chance on top of that 15%, so it's not too much, but we have extra damage, so hopefully that'll allow us to deal with our targets without using as much AP anyway. And we're at 60 damage now, and we can boost that a little bit further with Node Rage, so stand by. Okay, so here we are outside of Private Muty's Plaza, and here are all my buffs, and my stuff is all unyielding, so my stats look pretty good. Perception of 30, very, very useful. I like how endurance is still at 2, because perception at 30 allows us to ding in the heads a little bit normal. And you notice how I've got 15 bullets. I started off with 15 bullets in this because, yeah, sometimes you keep the ammo capacity of the thing. When you switch out the mags, which I had a stinging mag holding a 85 when I swapped out a thing eventually. Oh, we can actually one-shot things. Goodo. So hopefully I've made the right choice in making this thing with a perforating magazine, and maybe in the future I'll do that, because 3 bullets isn't a whole lot, and if you're punching through a lot more of that armor, I feel like you're doing pretty well. Is that another one over there? Wow, I'm sloppy. I haven't done this in a while. We'll quickly go ahead and shoot him. See if we go without sneaking. Even when we aren't sneaking, we're actually doing pretty good. Half adrenaline right now. 228. You know, it's kind of not as good as any other weapon that I might have used, but in terms of like a 10mm, we're actually pushing it pretty hard, and she's actually holding up pretty well. See, I think the normal resting, non-adrenalized, bloodied hand made it, you know, Node Rage threshold does 285, I usually clock it at, so we are playing at a significant disadvantage as compared to that. There was a baby super mutant there. The game's mocking you, Bloodied Firerate 10mm. And by the way, the extra fire rate on this, I don't think I've actually fully mag dumped anything yet, but you do recognize a huge difference between the damage output with the extra fire rate. And I'm pretty sure I would prefer the fire rate version of this over the explosive, despite all of the extra damage. But have I done that one yet? Maybe I should do that so we can get a comparison going. Now, I don't expect Bethesda to do any perk balancing anytime soon, but still, gunslingers need a little bit, or rather gorillas, because that's the best thing they've got. They kind of need a little something to get them going, and there's a couple of ways they can do that. They can either A, make the gunslinger and gorilla perks more akin to the... Do I not have gun fu? Come on. Oh wait, you were behind me. Okay, that makes sense. You've also forgotten where I am, so you would have paid dearly for that. Also, the crit spamming of my build is also making this a little bit better. And, oh, it looks like I did pick up a 3-star thing there. That's nice. That's going into the script bin. Anyways... That one, a 3-star, only dropped a 1-star though. Typical. Anyways, so yeah, so making it just use the, 3 perk points instead of the 9 allows you to have a lot more flexibility in agility, which is super needed because your damage isn't good to start with. Although that would probably mean they would have to boost the damage of these things outright, so the extra damage that you do gain by Gunslinger would affect them in a way that would have them do the same amount of damage as you are seeing now. There's just melee weapon over armor in here, 3 stars dropping 1 stars like it's going out of fashion. That's a good bug, Bethesda, I like that one. But as you can tell here, we're doing short work against all super mutants in here, and it's great. So a couple of things have happened. Obviously, the whole shit went down with the private servers and people not having features sold to them like that. But I'm kind of sitting at the point where I'm like, I'm really glad private servers have happened, but I understand that Bethesda have majorly fucked up, and that is the trouble of not having serendipity up. You will die, so yeah, that's basically what happened to Bethesda. They made a bad decision and they died. Bethesda is dead. I do have a lot of perks in luck at the moment to boost my thing. So serendipity, I kind of put that on the sidelines in the name of just doing more damage. And ooh, okay, had Nerd Rage activate again, so I was obviously sitting a little bit over that, but now we're not. I'm hitting for 501 in the noggin, which is pretty damn respectable. And kind of, yeah, stealth is extremely important. Like, you don't have the automatically good rifle damage to fall back on, just checking if they were dead, to, deal with enemies when they eventually see you, and well, at least enough to, dispatch of them before they dispatch of you. So stealth is incredibly needed for any build like this, especially if you're running at a threshold where your health is going to be taken out in a few shots. And that sucks even more because, well, we don't have any of this flexibility in agility to, throw some perks in to further boost our damage or sneaking potential. So yeah, I don't think Bethesda designed this to be an endgame build, which is, why you don't see a lot of people running around with 10 mils. But the people who do run around with 10 mils and play, I guess, a little bit with the stealth guerrilla builds, they'll tell you that they're quite useful, but the problem is you'll just never be as good as a handmade in terms of damage output, range, ammo capacity. I mean, accessibility of a 10mm pistol is easy. They're a dime a dozen, but you're going to get quickly outpaced by even a lower end receiver on a handmade, and have all the agility in the world to spare, so you can possibly get away with having a little bit less damage here and there because you can just avoid being damaged yourself. So I'll quickly sweep the rest of this area. We'll fucking find out what's left. You are. And now you are dead and in pieces. Still in danger, however. And there he goes. A noise, he says. A little bit too late for that. You'll never hear the suppressor. They're like no sounds at all for these guys. So a pretty solid performance there, but yeah, you are limited by, if your stealth fails, you fail and die, and unless you're jamming yourself with Stimpaks 24/7, it's going to be hard to keep your life going and when you're being shot at. Alrighty, time to fight the tools. This time on a private server, so hell yeah, I'm getting these can chimes. More 10mm pistol bullets for me. And if we're lucky, we're going to one-shot every single ghoul in here. And not having to go full auto is a pretty good deal when you've got 12 bullets in the mag, because you'll run out of those bullets very quickly. And apparently all of the rad roaches just want to pick fights with the ghouls, but they ain't armed with 10mm auto pistols, which can, gank them for 600 damage in the noggin if we're sneaking. And again, we're kind of holding back a little bit because we know we can get a 3.75 times multiplier. I got my fucking numbers mixed up there. So we're missing out on a lot of damage because we don't have that flexibility and agility. We ganked that guy because we had glow sight. So inflated damage on an inflated target, I suppose, on a glowing target. But as you can tell, one shot, one kill times however many ghouls are in here. I don't actually know. I've never actually counted. Maybe one day I'll remember to count every single ghoul kill I get so I can, get a rough idea of how many tools there are to slay in this particular area of the map. Okay, I can still hear him shambling about up top. So real quickly dispatch of whatever cretins around here. Where do you think you're going, mate? That is the wrong direction. I mean, it kind of was the right direction. You almost got away, but ain't happening, pal. Quickly finish these ones off, and don't worry about the stragglers around the back, which will definitely not be there. Okay. There he is. He decided to sit down instead of lie down over there this time. And that is a clean sweep of the ghouls with no rads or hits to our name. And there you go. You can still do pretty well. Now, I think pistols are a little bit more silent than suppressed rifles, so at least you've got that going to you. Although I'm pretty sure they're the same. Like, logically, they'd be different because you're firing a smaller bullet. But I'm talking out of my arse now. Let's just go and shoot things. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit more serious. Here's Swan. We'll just fill his face with a few criticals. And we can do him in less than a mag. 9 bullets to be precise there. So, you've got the power sometimes. It's just that you could just do better with a handmade. And it is more satisfying to use a... Well, I wouldn't say a tiny pistol. It's a big boy. But yeah, using that to kill Swan versus a handmade, it feels a little bit more... what's the term for finesse? There's more finesse to it. That's the one. Little bit of trivia too. That ghoul section before, we didn't actually have nerd rage threshold on, so we couldn't exactly kill them faster than what we did. But yeah, those damage numbers could have been a little bit more, I guess, exaggerated. Didn't really need it, but yeah, that's pretty good. But you know, having the extra insurance policy, I'm getting plenty of legendaries tonight. Yeah, having the extra insurance policy of you know, being able to take that extra hit was probably a good thing to have against the ghouls in case stealth failed me. You're not legendary though. I feel kind of ripped off, but I was counting about 400 damage on that queen there, which will take him out pretty quickly. But another limitation is a range, which we'll get to in just a second. But first, there's a train yard with enemies in it. Unless they're mole rats, then I'll just go to Scorch Beasts. We interrupt your regularly scheduled massacre to bring you random encounter. Hit Gutsies in the thrusters. It's so satisfying. Sometimes it's hard to get him in VATS, and sometimes the legs are in the way. But if you manage to hit him in the thrusters with your manual aim, it feels good. And for some reason, the number changing crit spot is still on the eyes, which I guess are technically the head of the monster. But that's not where its critical spot is at all. And I hope they change that in the future. Oh, we've got glowing mole miners. And despite these guys being squishy as compared to super mutants, these fuckers carry missile launchers, which will end you very quickly. See, there's one. Provided we don't get... Oh, we also get our glow sight on them, which is useful. Probably don't need to use VATS, to be honest. But yeah, as you can tell, they're capable of panic firing them. So yeah, any one of these guys fire in my general direction, you know, that wasn't those guys down there. I think they shot a little bit too low and the splash damage didn't curl around the surface to get me. But yeah, we're playing a dangerous game at the moment. I mean, not as dangerous as a minigun wielding super mutant, but still, maybe more dangerous. They're about the same because both will fucking mess you up. So we'll quickly dispatch of these tools. Well, they're not ghouls. I guess they are though. A ghoulified miner suit. Now that would be interesting. Put that in your game, Bethesda. Alright, so another limitation of the pistols that rifles don't get, and this one's, I guess, realistic, is range. And we do have a thing to boost our pistol's range when we're aiming down sights, so that's pretty good. So what we might do instead of, you know, VATSing everything we see, when they're a little bit further away, we're probably better off shooting them when we aim down sights. See, 156, 177, okay, maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But can I get you aggroed, friend? Oh, that's a missile or a grenade launcher. We can't have that. They didn't even know where I was. They just shot it. They just panic fired it and they got me. So, you know what? I don't think there was a lot of things I could have done in that situation to get out rather than just, you know, find out whoever had the grenade launcher and shot me. So, yeah, not having the range, pretty bad idea, and you'll see it reflected in the VATS accuracy, at least, before we actually start shooting at them. And I think I just saw a proc of the ye old fucking, what's it called, the Grim Reaper sprint too, so that was pretty good. But once these Scorch Beasts get close enough for us to strike them with our full damage, not getting that half damage out of range penalty, we can actually do pretty well. So provided things are up nice, close and personal, we're in good hands. So we'll quickly try to kill... Ooh, it's a legendary 2-star. Well, let's just quickly bring you down to my level, mate, and we'll start crit spamming. A little bit, I don't know, it feels a little bit less consistent with this pistol. I think it's just because of the range of the thing, and that would have summoned a lot more of those dudes. I think I'm out of Nerd Rage threshold too. Not that it really mattered there. Unfortunately, we didn't get to pull one out of here either. Back into it now. We'll see what this Scorch Beast dropped us, and then I think that'll pull this video to a close. So, despite this being what I consider to be the best 10mm pistol in the game, it ain't no Bloodied Firerate handmade, that's for sure, and that is what they call scriptware, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Wait. Oh, okay, I was gonna say, a 2-star dropped me a 3-star. That's a classic role reversal. But anyways, if you'd like to see this weapon in your game, well, hit up your local traders. Not a lot of people run pistol builds, so if they happen to come across this, they'll probably sting you a few thousand caps for it, but I don't think high-tier weapon trades will, actually needed for such a weapon like this, because people are after different things. But still, regardless of that, it is a solid weapon. I do highly recommend anyone using it if you are using a pistol build. Stealth Gorilla is definitely a decent way to go. Thank you for watching, guys.